Before this episode gets started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support on the last episode of Meet Your Maker, which was with Andrew Demko at Blade Show. I know I loved doing the interview, and I know you guys loved seeing it. So thank you so much for the support on that. And with all that out of the way, here is episode 3 of Meet Your Maker with my friend, Chad Landman. So I'm here with, as I said, my good friend, Chad Landman. Just a little bit about him real quick. He boasts a whopping 14,500 subs on YouTube. You guys probably know him from videos such as his review on the notorious EDC All Good pouch, and the one that actually drove me to his channel and then started a really cool friendship was his My Grandfather's EDC, which is, I guess, probably a video that really puts you on the map in some aspects, right?
I think so. That one, I'll tell you, the one that really got me started was the one that I did on my dad's EDC. So I had lost my dad in January of that year, and I thought it might be therapeutic. I was going over some of his stuff, and he was the OG EDC guy. In my mind, he carried the pocket knife. He had the little DeWalt, driver with him. He had the tape measure all the time with him. He had his pockets full of stuff all the time. And I thought that is going to be, I want to do a video on that. And I had, I think 500 subs at that point, 300, something really, really low. I'm actually sitting in church one day, and my wife is elbowing me, and she shows me the video, and this was 3 weeks after I posted it. Didn't even check, just posted it, didn't even check. And she says, your video's got like 40,000 views. And I hadn't gotten a video over like 400 views at that point. And so I was like, wow, that's, people really resonated with that. And so I really enjoyed that. That was therapeutic for me to go through some of his items and some of his things. And I loved putting that out there. And I thought, well, if people like this, then they might like me talking about EDC items and stuff. So if you've seen 3 videos on my channel, you've probably seen the one about my dad, the one about my grandfather's EDC, which was really cool because I found I came back into possession of a lot of his old World War II stuff. Turns out there's a ton of people that are interested in that. And if I had more to say about all of that World War II stuff that he had, if I had more of his stuff, man, I'd be making videos nonstop. So I may rehash those. I may go back and do those a little bit better than I did. But again, those were the videos that I posted, and I thought maybe somebody will watch this. This is probably going to go nowhere. And they ended up getting several 100,000 views. The one with the, like you mentioned, the notorious EDC AGP, the All Good pouch, I just loved the pouch so much. I bought one. I finally got one, and I just loved it so much. I was like, I'm going to put this thing on video and show everybody what I think. And I thought it will get 100 views and never be seen again. And that video alone has got like 300,000 views or something. And I'm just like, it was just a pouch, like, and all the other, and I just literally just threw it up on YouTube. That's exactly how it works. So I'm trying to have a more lackadaisical attitude of, I'll just throw this up there. I'll just throw that, and maybe something will completely go crazy and get me 100,000 views in 10 days or something. So,
well, that was a heck of an intro for yourself.
Well, thanks, man. Sorry about that.
But no, you hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's what this is all about here. We're not like, it'll just take your time. You can tell a 5-minute story about whatever you want to. It doesn't matter. But that's what this is about. It's about getting to know our content creators in this platform. So it's really cool. You're a good talker. Like we chatted on the phone earlier. And as I said, Chad is a good friend of mine, like outside of YouTube. Actually, so what I was saying was that I think it was the video on your grandpa's EDC from World War II or something like that was kind of the title of it that I found your channel with. And then I wanted to get to know you ever since then. And then finally, last Blade Show, I think I missed you. And then this year, let's see, what happened? We just kind of started chatting a little bit, I think, from the Discord. And then
yeah, you had got in touch over Discord and said, hey, man, I've been trying to get in touch with you. And I go, you have? Okay.
It's a little creepy, but okay.
And it wasn't creepy. I was just like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know that. And you were just like, hey, could you talk one day on the phone? And it turns out you have a job where you can talk on the phone a little bit during, you drive your truck and stuff like that. And so I thought, well, I mean, that's okay, I guess. And then we just hit it off, dude.
Yeah, it was a match made in heaven, I guess, because we very similar people, very similar values, and all kinds of different things we won't get into. But Chad is a very good friend of mine, so I'm very thankful for him to be on here. And now I get to interview you instead of just talking on the phone for 30 minutes to an hour. We'll get to do a more cordial thing. But anyways,
give me all the softball questions. All the softball questions.
Yeah, I will. I will pitch you underhanded everything. So I've got a list of questions that I've asked our past two guests, which were Rick Valdez and Andrew Demko. So first question, and I think you kind of dabbled in this in the intro. What got you into knives / the knife business or the knife community, whatever you'd like to say? So I'd love to first hear, I guess, what got you kind of in the knife space and then more steeped in the EDC community.
Okay, so the easy, very one-word answer, or a two-word rather, answer to that is my dad. I mean, that's what started me on the YouTube journey. That's what started me way back in the early 90s when he gave me my first pocket knife. And he was all about pocket knives, all about case knives. He even had some weird folders. I've got his collection now with me. And he had some weird knives. And I love that about him. And he was always using a knife for something. And then when I joined the Marines in 2000 and had a whole new appreciation for everyday carry, a whole new appreciation for the gear that you have and the essential. This was sometimes a life or death situation that I was in where I needed to have a piece of gear or have something on my person, whether that be a weapon or gear of other type would be essential to me. And so that really kind of perpetuated my love for it. And then I kind of got, into just collecting a few knives. My dad had given me back in about, I'd say 2000, when I graduated college, 2008 or so, he gave me a couple of knives as gifts. And I had never really I'd only had one or two pocket knives at that point. And I thought, man, this is cool. So I found some. I would find this one. I'd find some Kershaws here, find some case knives here, and just start collecting them. And then in 2017, I actually posted an EDC video of a Maxpedition bag. Believe it or not, my first EDC video was not my dad's or the World War II one from my grandpa. It was actually way back in 2017. And you can look at that thing now, and it's got like 20,000 views over what?
Wow.
I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And so, but it was one of those that I just set up a camera one day and I thought, I'm just going to talk about what's in my little EDC pouch here. And so that kind of perpetuated me. And then I proceeded to not make another video for like 6 years. but yeah, that's kind of what got me started in it and everything. That my dad really was the impetus of that.
That's cool. I don't have that similar background of my dad. That wasn't really the case, but it's cool to hear stuff like that. Feels almost traditional kind of thing. And then with the whole Marine side of things, boy, that's a different story. Today, okay, let's see, what have I got here? This little guy from Vosti, the new baby raccoon kit, raccoon pup, whatever they want to call it. This isn't a life or death piece right here in most situations. But when it comes to that whole Marine thing, yeah, that would be when you would really want to take that stuff seriously.
That's what I would have wanted if I could have had a Vosti raccoon in the Marines. That would have been incredible. In fact, I think about that quite a bit. I say, if I could have had this tool, I just procured me a Leatherman Arc. And I said, if I could have had a Leatherman Arc in the Marine, I literally could have done anything I wanted to do with it. And it would have been so incredibly handy in so many other situations, both fixing aircraft and on patrols that I got pulled in. Because if you're in the Marines, you could be an aircraft mechanic, but you could also be pulled as a rifleman for a patrol. It doesn't matter. We're always short a man. That's for sure. And so it was one of those kinds of things where, man, if I had a certain knife or certain tool or certain weapon at certain points, man, I would have absolutely given almost anything, give my right hand for one of those things, right?
So I would like to talk a little bit about what you carried in the Marine Corps, but before that, let's back up a little bit. So what was your childhood as far as related to knives? What was that like? Did you always have a pocket knife? Was it not until you were a teenager? Was it not until you went into the Marines? At what point did Chad Landman really start carrying a pocket knife?
So I really started carrying a pocket knife on a semi-regular basis when my dad gave me my first pocket knife in it was probably about 90, 95, 96 when I was 14 years old. And I was going to be working a summer job that required cutting bales of hay, cutting different things like that. And he says, "Hey, if you're going to do that, you need a good knife." And he just gave me a knife or two. And so that's kind of what started me on that. I really didn't start carrying a knife on a regular basis because I didn't like, I'm super particular about that stuff. I still don't like carrying a small slip joint and it just dangling around in the bottom of my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and
I'm with you on that.
I didn't wear a bunch of blue jeans, and so didn't have that cool coin pocket I could put up there, but I just didn't like that a lot. And I thought, well, but then my dad bought me, when I graduated from Marine Corps basic training in September of 2000, that Christmas, the Christmas of 2000, he bought me a Beretta 92 FS handgun. And if you know what these were standard issue M9s is what they were called in the Marines. They were standard issue for pilots, for people that were flying on aircraft because you couldn't take a big, rifle in the Marines. So he bought me a replica M9. It's just a Beretta 92 FS, and it's the same weapon I qualified with in the Marine Corps. I still have it. It's 25 years later, and I still have it. Never selling it. I will hand that down to my boys. And what came with it, though, was a 3.5-inch bladed, really nice folding Beretta knife. And it was it looked like a conventional knife that you would have today. It was a folding knife like this. It had a belt clip on it. And I wish I had brought it to show you now because I've still got it. I have beat the tar out of it. And it is just, I carried it all through the Marines. And it was my first real knife that I carried in my pocket with a pocket clip because it was the first one that I really owned with a pocket clip. So that was 25, 24 years ago. And so that's when I started carrying a knife, and I carried that knife for probably 6 or 7 years until I got another one. I carried it constantly.
Could you imagine carrying the same knife for 6 or 7 years now?
No. It's a joy. It is a joy to me to be able to go out in my garage and just look at my knife display and just go, I think I'll carry this one today. And that's just awesome, Yeah. And most of them, and again, somebody would hear that and say, well, he's a creator on YouTube and he gets all sorts of free ones. Actually, most of those are the ones that I've bought myself. And so,
those are the most fun to carry, aren't they?
Those are the most fun to carry because you don't always get to choose. You may think about the luxurious life of a YouTuber, which, by the way, that is not my full-time job. It makes nowhere near the amount of money that I would need to support myself and my family. But it is a wonderful hobby, and we can talk a little bit about that later. But it is so nice to have 20, 30, I don't even know, 40 knives maybe to pick from, and to just go out there and just pluck, hey, man, that one looks good. I'll carry this one today, I love it.
Yeah, it's a what do you call it? I'm trying to think of what do you call a burden? First world problem. There you go. To walk out or
it's definitely
pick out which
first
knife
world
to carry in
problem.
the morning.
But every knife that I have today is far superior to the ones that were made 10, 20, 15 years ago. It's incredible how far things have come just since 2012 or 2015. It's amazing.
So speaking on that right there, here's a question for you. What did you carry in the Marine Corps? Now, I want to take a guess. I don't know that you've ever told me, but I would imagine it was either a K-bar, a Gerber, as far as fixed blades go, like either a K-bar, the Gerber, what is it, the Gator? I can't remember off the top of my head what the name of that fixed blade was. Or I believe a fella I used to work with carried I think his was a K-bar as well. So I'm going to guess either a K-bar or a Gerber.
Believe it or not, I carried a couple of different ones. You were right on two of them. I carried that Beretta knife that I talked about. It was just a Beretta branded knife. Now, when I went on deployment, I tried to leave that one at home because that one was my personal knife. They didn't issue us knives. There's a couple of Marines that I've talked to that were in the service. They were in certain jobs a couple of years after I was, and they had issued them Benchmade 910s. And
whoa,
they had issued certain
that's
Marines
crazy.
Now, what was funny about that is that I had bought a Benchmade 910 to go on deployment with because that was the knife that was
wow.
recommended to me by my friend. So I carried a K-bar, which was a fixed blade. I
Mm-hmm.
carried a Benchmade 910, and then I carried, and this is not all at the same time, obviously, but at different times. And I carried, you nailed it, a Gerber Gator, man. Those things felt, I did so much, and I don't even know where that knife is today. I
Use
think
it
I
as a
lost
shovel.
it. I did. I used it
Yeah.
in conjunction with my e-tool, my entrenching tool, right? To literally dig holes in the sand. And I used a Gerber Gator to kill a scorpion one time. And
Oh.
because it had crawled out of somebody's boot. So
Ew.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, check your boots, shake them out real
gracious.
good before you do that. Yeah, it's kind of crazy over there, man, kind of crazy. So
the funny thing is,
that's the 3 that I did.
well, the funny thing is, like, I guess I'm sure there were more back then, but it was very slim pickings to the point where I could guess 2 of them.
You had Chase, you had Gerber, you had, I mean, who else? I didn't even know Cold Steel was around. Kershaw was around. I didn't know about Kershaw. Cold Steel was around. I had no idea about Cold Steel. Zero Tolerance was one that I remember back in the day.
Really?
I don't
you knew about Zero Tolerance, but not Kershaw.
I didn't know if it was quite that early. Well, there was one particular really bougie knife store I went to in Huntsville that had Zero Tolerance place. I don't even know who they're owned by anymore. They're owned by somebody else right now, aren't they?
Zero Tolerance.
Yeah, ZT.
They're a Kershaw brand. They've been, I think from the beginning, they've been a Kershaw brand.
Okay, so I did know about, I must have known about Kershaw, but it was one of those kinds of things where I just didn't know brands. I didn't know blade steel types. I didn't know any of those particulars about knives before, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Right.
Just didn't pay attention to it.
Well, I don't know about you, but I remember like walking into Walmart needing a pocket knife. Mm-hmm. And I think I know one
Camillus down there, you know,
Camillus or something like that. Yeah, like
Camillus, whatever it is.
But for me, it was the Gerber Paraframe. I remember walking into Walmart and I thought I think the knife was cool to me. But you know, this was, how old am I? This might have been 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. So, you know, this is 14-year-old Sam walking into Walmart. And then I had one that like a girl that I was chasing after at the time got me for Christmas. And like, but even back then, I remember it. I don't know if it's something built into me or what. I remember like, I don't like this knife. I don't like this knife. And then, you know, going through them and picking out the right one. But back then it was Gerber, Kershaw, like you said, maybe Camillus. I don't think I even knew of Camillus really. Swiss Army. Yeah. And all the knockoff Swiss Armies.
Right. I think I carried a knockoff Swiss Army for a long, long time that I had gotten. Mm-hmm. My dad used to be a lumber salesman, and he would go all around Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, selling lumber. And he would get little trinkets like that. So he would get little tape measures and little rulers and little pencils and pens and things like that. But then sometimes he'd get those branded knives that were the classic SD knockoffs. And I've probably got like 30 of them. Man, it's crazy.
Wow.
Stuff. Yeah, I've just got them
Smith's Lumber Company.
Bucket. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, exactly. I know it's exactly what you're talking about, because I went into a gun store a while back, and they had a whole bucket, and you could get like a classic SD for like, I don't know, $3. And so I bought a couple.
Local knife shows, you can just dig and they say $1 a piece, man. $1 a piece.
Yeah. I love it. And it's like the you know, like old random companies that aren't in business anymore. But anyways, moving on from that tangent. So yeah, you were really pigeonholed back then with what you could have. So after you get out of the Marine Corps, after all these things, so on and so forth, I guess my question is, at what point did you really start with, oh, I really like this? I've heard of this company, Spyderco. And then, all of a sudden there's Civivi. There's all these other companies. When did you really start sticking your nose in the true, what's the word? No, not influencer. What's that word for people who are really into things?
Niche,
connoisseur. When did you really start like collecting? When did it become a hobby for you? There's the question I'm looking for.
I'd say it was around 10 years ago, around 2014. I was looking to have some stuff to give down, because I had just had a baby boy in 2011. And so I was thinking, you know, getting out of that baby phase, that first baby was born, finally getting out of that and finally realizing that I'm not getting any younger. And I said, I need to get some more knives. I need to look at those. I need to figure out what I want with those. And I actually started looking at a couple of different things. I guess, I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I collect way too many things. Like, it is not just EDC stuff, and it is absolutely out of control with EDC stuff, man. I give away as much as I get sometimes with the EDC stuff, but I got back into retro video games. I got back into different types of music players and music. I'm a huge music fan, huge record tape, CD guy, all sorts of different stuff. In fact, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I've got some up there. I've got a whole shelf of just CDs right up there. I mean, it's bananas. And so I did kind of slow that down and get done with that. But it was about 10 years ago with knives and with EDC in general, really when I saw Maxpedition and VanQuest really starting to come of age. And I thought, man, these pouch things are cool. You mean I can have like a Go pouch and put a couple of knives and a med kit in it and throw it in the car? That's super cool. And I just started kind of getting into that and kind of buying some of that stuff up. And so I'd say, yeah, about 10 years ago.
Funny thing is, we've talked about this before. That's the thing about me and you. Like, we've talked about so much, so we've got a lot to cover. But I know we were talking about it the other day, and Chad was kind of saying, like, he was on the whole, like, pouch EDC thing before it was ever even cool. We're talking, how many years ago? Probably.
Oh, I've got an Instagram.
Ago?
I've got an Instagram post from 2015 of
so like 9 years ago. Wow.
Right. Of a pouch, of a Maxpedition pouch, the little mini organizer with the big loop on the top of it that I carried in a cargo pocket of my pants during the wintertime and stuff forever. It had everything in it that I'd ever need, or at least I thought. And I was kind of the pouch guy before the pouch guy. So
there you go. You setting trends back in the day. That's what happens when you're an old man, though. So taking shots already. So we chatted a little bit about what kind of got you more into the collecting side of things, which you said was a child being born, and that kind of made you poke your nose into this whole EDC community. What prompted you to start your YouTube channel?
I had dabbled in a lot of stuff on YouTube. The one thing that if you watch these YouTube channels that tell you how to run YouTube channels, and I haven't watched them incredibly much, but they say one thing over and over again. In your channel, you need to find a niche. You need to find what people like to hear you talk about. And it wasn't about technology. I love technology. I love tech. I love Apple stuff. I love talking about that kind of stuff. I love retro games. It really wasn't that, because people didn't identify with that. But when I started talking about EDC stuff, about knives, about different things like that, it kind of just clicked and it kind of took off. And I should have started it much, much earlier. Maybe I could have gotten in a little bit better, but it was really the pandemic. Kind of when it happened, I had to, because of the nature of my job, I had to drop everything that was extracurricular. I went from working a regular 40-hour-a-week job to working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, because we had to produce videos. We had to do, I work for a church. And so I had to be that kind of manager for them during that time. I had to do it. And so I was very thankful to be able to do that. I was blessed to have that ability at the time that I needed to be needed for this church. And that was such a blessing for me. But at the same time, it made me, I told people I was a member. I was on a couple of different boards of directors of different things, different activities in the church and things like that. And I just had to stop all that. And I realized that I could have a hobby and make a little bit of money off of it. But more importantly, I could have a hobby to where I could actually, people would listen to me, let me give my thoughts on YouTube. They could comment on that, interact with me. I could have my own sort of mini community there and have that be something outside of the regular ministry work that I do day to day. And that just really clicked for me. So in 2021, that's really when it clicked for me. And then when I made that video about my dad, I realized, wow, I could probably actually do this and people would actually subscribe and come and listen and all sorts of stuff. So
it's funny how we all fall into these things. For me, I'm a little bit younger, so I saw the success of others, and just to be dead honest with you, I wanted free knives, so I thought, hey, I'll make a few videos, and then
I tell you,
took
Sam,
off from there.
A little bit deeper for me, but everything of value in my life that has happened to me has fallen in my lap. It has been, and again, I don't want to get too churchy or too preachy here on the podcast or anything, but the good Lord has just dropped things in my lap that I never would have saw coming, that have been the most immense blessings for me personally, and hopefully for those people around me. I met my wife when I least expected it at a college. I met, we had our children at the time that I did not think I was be having children in my life. Right. I was supposed to be doing that in my 20s, and I didn't do that in my 20s. I was stomping around in Afghanistan in my 20s. And so I had to delay my life, but as much as my life has not come out as like I would have planned it, it has up to this point, and I'll be 43. You made fun of me as being an old man. I'll be 43 in November. Okay. So don't make those sounds. Don't make those sounds. and so, but I can tell you right now, everything, including YouTube, once I realized, hey, YouTube is probably not going to be a thing I'm going to quit my job over. I mean, it's okay. It's great. But once I embraced the idea of it being a hobby for me, a way for me to do some really cool stuff, to meet some really cool people like yourself, to go to really cool things, and to have those friends. Believe it or not, making friends in your 30s and 40s is difficult. And so having
especially if you're you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so having a hobby like this and having, I'm going to try tonight. You better not pluck all these little things out of you making fun of me and take them out of context.
Oh no, everyone be in here. Every one of them.
So
uncut, baby.
But when you think about that, like seriously, you ask some of the older YouTubers and you ask them why they stick with it and why they do it. And I bet you that unless they're making a ton of money off of it, which some of them are, but unless they're making a ton of money off of it, it is the relationships, the friendships, the things that they can do, and the hobby that they can center around this. It's just a community. It's a great, great community.
I never would have expected like this right here. Of course, like me being in the age I am, of course, for me, it's more of something that I'm pushing for eventually to do full time.
Well, you have the ability to do that at your age right now.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, like, when I made that first YouTube video, I don't even remember exactly what prompted me to do it. Oh, I remember. It was on a pocket clip for, actually, it's somewhere on this desk, a Demco. Oh, come here. Which is hilarious. Actually, I didn't even think about that, but it was for a Demco 80-20.5 when they came out. I unboxed the knife because I looked for the DLT exclusive on YouTube and nobody had made a video on it. So I made one. And that video ended up getting, first video on my channel got like 2,000 views, which, if you've never posted a video, you're like, whoa. And so then I posted one on the pocket clip and stuff.
Numbers, for somebody that doesn't get very many views, that's like Super Bowl numbers, man.
Yeah. And, I'm still happy if I get 2,000 views now. But like, funny thing is, like, full circle, like the things it's led me to, which is the designer of this knife, which is not this exact knife, but this model, which is what my first video was on. I got to interview the doggone designer and owner of this company, a month ago. So it's like the crazy things that, and I'm with you on that. I don't shove religion down people's throats, but since me and you are both on here now, there'd be a little bit of religion thrown in here. Nothing too crazy, but I thank God for all the opportunities and all the crazy things that I've been allowed to do and to meet people like you. I said we were a match made in heaven as a friendship earlier. And I say that not really jokingly. I believe that truly we were supposed to become friends. Just we get along so well. Great to have, be able to call you up and talk to you about different things and all this stuff. So the whole knife community thing, friends like you, friends like Jordan from Carry Commission and Taylor, I guess I'll claim him too, and Ricky, and the guys from Grim Workshop, I get to see them like once a year. Who else? All kinds of people, man. The Crispy Donut guys, of course. All these different people that I've become good friends with. It's like I didn't expect that to happen when I first stepped into this industry, but here we are. And here I am.
You're right. I most
Yeah.
definitely did not expect it to happen.
Yeah. Like I never tell me what 2-3 years ago when I started all this that I'd be sitting here in front of a camera with a good friend of mine interviewing him for someone else's YouTube channel that I work with. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. And it's a huge blessing. I know you feel the same way. So there we go. We'll get off the religious topics a little bit, but I'm very thankful. And I thank God for all of this right here because it's really cool. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
So where are we at? We got to, what made you start your YouTube channel? Now, maybe let's talk a little bit about where you are now. So you've been doing the whole YouTube thing pretty heavily now for what, 4 or 5 years?
Oh, no, not even that long. Probably just 3 years, really, from
3 years. Okay.
2021 or so. And really I've tried to stay consistent, but the day job demands some other things sometimes. And so usually about 9 or 10 months out of the year, I'm pretty consistent, except when my job gets really busy in May and June. But yeah, I have been trying to post something at least once a week, even if it's just a short, just to show the stuff that I've got. I've got feels like a million reviews of pretty amazing stuff that I can't wait to share on the video. I've got 2 or 3 fanny packs, some chest bags. I've got probably 7 different knives that I need to get reviews done on. I've got stuff that I've bought, like summer bag. I've got a new backpack. In fact, I'm really looking forward to this video because I've got a backpack that I found while I was at an outdoor store on a trip, and I never planned it at all. And it has turned out to be the best thing that I've ever bought. It's it's a well-known backpack. It's not revolutionary or anything, but to me, it was revolutionary. And so I'm looking forward to being able to share that on the channel. And it's so fun to have a medium to be able to make videos, because I started making videos when I was in college. I've been doing that since probably 2006 or so, 2005. In fact, I was probably doing that in high school. And so I've been doing videos for over 20 years. I did video in the Marine Corps a little bit because we had to have a videographer for certain different things. And the guys from the Joint Public Affairs Office couldn't come with us. And so I was the guy that was drafted to do that. I said, I can do that. I did that in high school. I can do that. And so I've been doing videos for a long time. And so I'm really excited to be able to put that talent there to use and to say, hey, this is a bag that I thought was cool. And you know what? If I make $100 off this video, that's fine. If I make $0 off of this video, that's also fine. But if I help one person make a decision that has a limited budget, that has to pick between buying this bag or buying this bag, if I help them make that decision, then I've done my job.
I don't know about you, but I think my favorite part of all of this, getting stuff, is awesome. You get home, you open up that box from that company that sent you something for free, and you're like, whoa, this is legit. And that's what it was with me and Vosteed for the first time. And now that I'm working with Crispy Donut Community, but especially when I first started with them, like just package after package of all this awesome stuff. And that is such a blessing. And don't think I'm bragging there, just relaying to this. What makes me the most happy is when I have that knife and there's this, maybe some new friend or new something, this acquaintance or someone's birthday or something. You're like, here's a new knife, or here's a knife or a flashlight or something like that. Check this out. And that is my favorite thing to do, is to get somebody else hooked on this. So I'll have somebody to talk to.
Well, I just gave my 3 nieces each a CJRB mini pyrite in 3 different colors. And I bought them at Blade Show for them on purpose because they had asked me, Uncle Chad, we need a knife and we don't know what to get. And I said, I gotcha.
I gotcha. Yep.
and it is just so much fun. And giving knives away, giving EDC gear away. I almost gave away a mini Benchmade bug out to a friend here at church.
Wow.
And he would not let me give it to him. He gave me money for it. He didn't give me a lot of money for it. Didn't give me, certainly not what it was worth, but he still gave me money for it. And I told him I didn't want it, but he still gave it to me anyway. But just making his day, because he was like, I've been looking for one of these everywhere. And he did the normal, person or whatever that's not in this knife world or not in the blade world or EDC world. They just don't know necessarily where to get these things. If they can't find it at Walmart or Target, then they really don't know where to go to get them. And so he was ecstatic about it, and seeing that joy, seeing him and he came to church the other day and he flipped it out and he's like, check it out. And it's just, it's just amazing. I love doing that stuff. So I'm actually having a lot of fun because people know that I'm that EDC guy that I would know knives.
Yeah.
I'm having a ton of fun being like, hey, check this out. You got to check this out. Hey, Ben, you think this knife is $75, but it's really like $30. So you need to check it out.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. It's great.
Yep. Those are my favorites. Like when I get that text, hey, it's like Christmas is coming up, birthday's coming up. What should I get? Such and such. It's like, yes, this is what I live for.
I get so many Facebook messages from people that my wife has told that I know all about men's gifts and knives. And she's like, just ask my husband. He knows all of that. And I have a recommendation. What's your budget? What's your budget? And what does he want? He's like, okay, he wants this. And he was, okay, I've got a great $60 knife for you. Great. And, I might make $1 or $2 off of that. I might not. Most of the time I don't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's so cool to be able to be that guy in the conversation that people want to call and people want to talk to.
Yeah. It's fun. I don't know. It's probably got to do with our background too, of like all the talking and all the stuff we do. I don't know. We're weird people. We're a weird bunch. Us content creators / preachers. All right. And so we talked a little bit about the channel. What's your future plans? Like, I know for me personally, I haven't posted in forever, but I've got some really cool stuff coming up over the next few months. Is there anything that you've got planned, something different, something new, or something you're super excited about? Or is it just going to be, let's keep hammering out what we're doing now?
I am a little bit on the I want to keep hammering out. I want to get more consistent and keep hammering out what I'm doing now. I don't know that consistency equals a video a week, but I'm going to try to stick to that. I'm going to try to stick to a video at least once every 10 days to have people be able to share those things. I want to get creative with I want to do more funny stuff, especially in shorts. I've got two big advertisers that want to sponsor.
Wow.
And I'm in with them. And these are brands that you've seen on other videos. They're not related.
No way.
They're not related to EDC stuff, but it's like they're sponsoring videos, and I'm going to get, and that's exciting, because that's supporting the work. That's money for me to be able to reinvest back into the channel. So when I go and buy this little $40 pouch, when, they're not going to send it to me, they don't know who I am. That's reimbursing myself or reimbursing the channel for stuff that I bought so that I can make content about it. So that's kind of exciting to me. It's just to get back to the grind and the regularity of actually having some stuff, being able to come in every week. What I'm really excited about is I've got a tiny little space carved out that I can use now as a dedicated studio. This is not my studio. This is my office. I'm just using this because it's got a better internet connection, but I've got a tiny little space to where I can leave my equipment and my lights and the background in the same place, walk in, turn on the lights, turn on the camera, hit record and go. And that to me is the biggest hurdle in content creation. It's just set up and the tear down. And it's like, oh my God, I got to set all this stuff up to make it look good. You got to set up a few lights. You got to have the right angle. You got to have the right lens on. You got to have the right camera at the back and all this stuff. And if I've got that all set up, I'm going to be able to pump out videos quicker and quicker. And it's just going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of big plans. I tell you what I'm not going to do. Can I tell you a few things that I'm not going to do?
Let's hear it.
I don't think that I'm going to ever offer any kind of membership or subscription program. I know that YouTube makes that kind of stuff easy. I know that Instagram kind of sort of makes that kind of stuff easy. I don't really know a whole lot about Instagram in that respect, but I don't think I'm ever going to offer that, because then that puts even more pressure on something to me that's supposed to be enjoyable for me and enjoyable as a hobby for me. I know that during May and June, you're not going to see very much on the channel. You're just not. And that's okay, because this is something that I'm not making you pay for it. I'm not making you shell out money every month to give to me for that. So I kind of don't want that added pressure, but also I just don't have the time to manage something like that and to make extra content for people. I would feel the need, like if I had a membership, I would want to make that extra content for those people, make it worth their while, right? Even if it's 99 cents, $1.99 a month, I would want to make it worth their while. So not having that, I'm just trying to really lean into the, hey, if you want to send me, if you want to buy me a coffee, if you want to send me some support, if you want to, buy me a super thanks, that's great. And I love that. But I don't think I want to offer any kind of membership program. I've had a couple of people ask about that. And that's so wonderful that people have asked about that on the channel. In fact, I never would have thought that people would be asking that sort of question. But I'm just saying, hey, you support me with your comments, with your likes, with your subscriptions, with all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I'm trying to keep this fun, and I'm trying to keep it a hobby, because I don't know if you've noticed, Sam, but there's a lot of people quitting YouTube. Not in our community. Our community is still pretty strong. But the most notable in our community is Zach, right?
Yeah.
Zach in the Wild. Now, I don't know if his was frustrations with YouTube, but he did. If you go back and watch his video, he did say that just the management of YouTube, the stuff that you got to do just to get a video out it's a lot. It really is a lot.
It is.
And it doesn't, if you're doing it to make a living off of it, it doesn't pay off for the work doesn't equal what you're getting paid for that. So fortunately, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this to get paid. And I hope it remains that way. And so go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's like, you see, Crispy Donut Community, it's a business. We have a schedule. We want this many shorts and this. That is a whole different story from what you're talking about. What you're talking about is the way I need to start looking at my channel that way, which is, well, I mean, and the only reason I would feel pressured to make videos is because I'm behind on owing some companies some reviews.
Right. And that's me too.
Like, just upload whenever I want to. I've got a thing coming up where it will have to be more structured, but I've already decided, instead of like recording the videos when I can, this video is probably going to start being recorded here soon, or these series, and it probably won't come out till like November. I am not going to pressure. I'm not going to push. I'm not going to like halfway do it here, halfway do it there. It's going to be something that is built up, and it's not getting released until it's done or so close to done that we're there. So that's the way that I think a lot of us in this industry need to approach this, because if not, it becomes such a pressure. Like, it's been a rift in my marriage that just focusing on it all the time. I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. Thankfully, I've gotten the Crispy Donut thing down to where I can do it in one day, get everything shot, everything edited, everything uploaded. I'm done. And that's the way that, honestly, it needs to be if you're not doing it as a business. Yeah. Because, like, so what if I hadn't uploaded in a while?
My church, my job, and my family are not going to suffer and sacrifice because of this, because of my hobby. Yeah. And when I accept a review, when people say, can we send you something to review? I say, yes, it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks minimum.
Yeah.
And so if you want this review next week, it's not going to happen. So I've turned down several reviews that I probably would have really enjoyed because they wanted it done in like a super quick time frame. And I'm like, I don't work that way. And that is the luxury that I have, because I do have a full-time job. I'm not trying to make YouTube full-time. That is the luxury that I have of still having this as a hobby. And so that's one of those things I saw so many YouTubers in the last 3 to 6 months, including Zach in the Wild. I saw so many YouTubers just not enjoying it anymore. Now, granted, some of them were making a ton of money off of it. And you know what? They may have the luxury of walking away from something like that and still having the funds to be able to do that. If YouTube was my full-time job, I'd be in a lot of trouble because I don't make enough from that. I don't make nearly enough from that. And so I want to keep it pure, if that makes any sense.
Like, I understand what you mean.
Enjoyable. so that when I'm walking around Blade Show, I don't feel the constant pressure to have my camera out nonstop
Yeah.
all the time.
It's not your source of money. It's not your life doesn't depend on the fact if you get a video out this week or not.
Right.
Like
right.
I get that. And that's why I would love to make
people that are. Kudos to all of the ones that are.
Exactly. But that's
Crispy
why I would
donut,
love
yeah.
I would love for my future in this industry to be working for someone else. Like that. Oh, I gave you a thumbs up there. Whoops. But I would love it. Like whether it be for Vosteed or Crispy Donut Community or whoever else, like I would love that. And if it's not my channel, if my channel's there to make an extra $150 a month, which it doesn't do now, I'm not even monetized. I messed that up anyways. But like, so be it. That would be really cool. And yeah, I would love for my channel to be what I'm known for. But
what's cool about yours, Sam, is that you've been able to use your channel as a gateway to get you into so many different other things. And they're all EDC related, and they might be jobs, but I'm telling you would say they're exactly incredibly what you want to be doing for the next 20, 30, 40 years.
I feel like we've built up a heck of a resume for this industry. It's like, well, what's your resume? Well, go check out these 3 or 4 channels that I've worked on. It's like, it's a really cool thing.
Exactly.
But all right, I know we need to wrap it up here. So
yeah.
Anything that you would like to promote? And then I've got one question that I didn't prepare you for. So let's hear. Do you have anything you'd like to promote? Anything coming up soon, or just the channel, whatever?
Yeah, just my channel is. You can find. You saw my URL down here. Go there.
It'll be linked in the description as well. Yeah.
Support the channel. Find some. I've talked about a lot of stuff. I've gotten about 40 videos done in the last year and a half, and so I've talked about quite a few things. And if you find one of those things that you like, go like the video, go subscribe, go comment on the video. I actually see and respond to every comment. What's really funny is the people that don't think that I'm looking at comments and they see that I respond to them and then they're surprised. It's like, yeah, I do that. I don't have so many comments on my channel that I cannot respond to almost every single one. And so I do that. So I would love to promote my channel. I would also like to, I do something that is church work related that may be of interest to some of the people here. If you have kids, I also have, and I do have a YouTube channel on this, but it's not something necessarily I think I've got like maybe 100 subscribers, but it's called the Digital Parenting Workshop. And I've been able to do this for the past 10 years and talking to parents and kids, about phones, internet safety, all sorts of different things. And so just one of those, it's another one of those things, like I said earlier in the interview, it's another one of those things that just fell in my lap. And so I've been able to talk to parents in technology. I thought that COVID would have killed that. And it just got even stronger. And so I've got 2 this month, actually. I'm going to South Carolina, and then I'm going to, where am I going? I just got through going to Odessa, Texas, and doing some stuff, mostly speaking at churches. But if you want to check that out, digitalparentingworkshop.com, completely not EDC related, but it's one of those things that I do that I'm passionate about as well. And so really, really love everybody that has commented on every video. If you're watching this video, if you've purchased a knife from CDC, if you've done any of that, I just thank you so much for all of your support for all of those different things, and for Sam as well.
And Chad actually has at least one, maybe 2 videos, or at least one coming with our products. So he has the CJRB Hectare. He's one of the only channels on YouTube, I think, that has one. Maybe I could be wrong. The collaboration right there, as well as the Chicago is included in one of your most recent videos, I believe, right?
Yes,
there we go.
Yes, it is.
So go check out his videos on our products and his videos on other products. Chad is an awesome guy, a great content creator. I need him to teach me how to use this camera better, because this is my first episode with one. So anyways, that's great. Last question. What is your favorite knife? And no, you don't have to say any of the Crispy Donut knives. What is your favorite knife? You see, that one caters to me too. That's your favorite knife.
Right now, it's my favorite. Now, I wouldn't say of all time, but right now, this one right here is my favorite, the Vosteed Mini Labrador. And it is very mini, but I would say that's probably my favorite knife of all time. No,
I don't know about you.
Not of all time. Not of all time. Sorry.
But yeah.
Right now.
I don't know about you. not in the sprinkle colorway. As you guys know, we're not doing the sprinkle stuff on knives anymore. Womp womp. We'll probably do videos on that in the future. But I would like to see maybe a mini Labrador with an anodization similar to this. Wouldn't you like to see something like that?
Oh my goodness.
Luke, Drew, wouldn't you like to see something like that? This isn't necessarily happening, but that would be really cool. So me and Chad are pushing for it. That'd be beautiful, wouldn't it?
You know what, CDC guys? I'll buy it. I'll just buy it.
He'll buy every one of them.
I'll buy every one of them.
Every single one of them. So let's make about 9,000
every blade
of them.
style. Yeah, I'll buy every single one of them.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, thank you so much, Chad, for hopping on here. This was an easy one. It was just another conversation. So great having you on. Thanks so much for being here. You can find him at Landman EDC on YouTube. It's right here on the screen. We will also have a link in the description. We'll also link the other thing that he mentioned. What was the name of your children's ministry?
Digitalparentingworkshop.com.
Digital parenting, which that sounds like it's more for the parents than the children. But we'll have all that stuff linked down below in the description. Again, his channel, Instagram, all that stuff I'll try to throw down in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Again, thank you to Chad for being on here. This has been episode 3 of Meet Your Maker. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all those wonderful things. Have a great day, and remember, stay crispy.